to go ahead with your presentation.
Yeah, all right, thank you. I'm trying to share my slide. Hopefully it should be visible.
Hello, sir. Please unmute your voice first.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm trying to share this slide. It's getting shared now. It's visible to everyone?
Yes, it's visible, sir.
Okay. So today I have been asked to deliberate upon how this AI and machine translation can alter the very face of the future of language preservation. Also, how it can really be a game changer in the arena of not only disseminating, propagating, preserving, or archiving, or through digitization of all the resources that are readily available around us. So it's really quite empowering, because this revitalization with machine translation is an innovative attempt at revitalizing those, especially those endangered languages, like could be in the eastern part of India, Maitri and Khasi and Garo, and there are so many. I wouldn't say that they're already on the brink of extinction, but the number of users or speakers is dwindling by days, and through the use of AI and MT, we can bridge the gap between generations, and we can transfer it, the enrichment of the language as we are endowed with it, which is grammatical rules and lexis and syntactical error, and it can help us sustain the linguistic diversity that India, the great India, stands for. Because India is a composite culture with 1600, around 1600 languages thriving in one way or the other, or in some form or other. May not be enough of the print, enough the use, enough the readability, but they do exist in one form. And apart from a national language and official 25 languages. So I'm here to shed some light on how this integration with MT can really give a new boost, a new lease of life, fresh lease of life to the dying languages. What are the challenges that we really face into revival? Because there are numerous challenges. As I just mentioned, there are limited resources. The print houses are getting closed down. We are switching over to digitization of most of the resources. There is a lack of documentation of the living literature, or it could be in the print or in the television, and so it's declining, and this declining speaker population, because of the predominance and hegemony of English as a lingua franca, even before we talk of our national language or the second languages. So these innovative solutions to these obstacles can enable efficient preservation for the coming generations, and also it can transmit the language knowledge through automating language documentations. I mean, the role of artificial intelligence comes in where in the analysis and documentation and preservation and sophisticated tools. We have sophisticated tools like speech recognition, language modeling, that we can learn the language like natives, and we can be the original users. And there are so many applications, these from text to speech synthesis, like those who are proficient or well versed in the language acquisition, that have been using the language, they can be the role model, and their texts or speeches can be modeled, and it can be, its effectiveness can advance in revitalization efforts. So machine translation has evolved to facilitate accurate and culturally sensitive translation. I mean, like, its translation is not just alliteration. It gives the nuanced understanding or comprehensions of. So it can really offer a seamless conversion of text and oral communication as in the form of speeches, the original speeches, through synthesizing those speech across the cultural borders, and we can promote linguistic diversity, safeguarding these languages which may not find favor with majority of the people otherwise enough. So we have community engagement collaboration. The best thing about synchronous mode of transmitting this information is that we have a very large community worldwide, and we can get connected with them through engagement and collaboration. And this community-driven efforts is not localized. It doesn't know the bounds of the boundaries. In fact, it empower local speakers, and also actively participate in the preservation and promotion of the language from their kith and kins and friends worldwide, online, and the problem, the issue of the ethical considerations, translation, that, like, it can have biases of some sort of accent, and can have the biases of the localized aborigines, and also can have the problem of how to ensure that this is not being played out in the hands of those tool makers. So it can ensure inclusivity. It can include and can also safeguard the linguistic heritage, which are essential to development deploying of language technology. And whichever language, it's not about these endangered or dying or the threatened languages. It goes across the board in all the languages, that maybe the lingua franca, those languages in the currency. So empowering language division with MI and MT, it's a transformative opportunity, and it's coming to be accessible to most of the users without much cost. We can preserve through just some applications and just forming some kind of collaborative community, and it can be transferred quite easily. And in fact, we have the real-time translations devices now. Up to 50 languages. Google can translate. We can have the real-time translations while using them. So there are some. I've just heard of PIN, AI PIN, which can translate your instructions and commands with the spur of the moment at the real time. You don't have to even wait for it to translate. So it's really offer a valuable aid and not a total fix for language preservation. It cannot bring back entirely to life all that we have lost, we have been on the verge of losing, but it can definitely involve native speakers. It can involve the linguists. It can involve the scholars and researchers, and it can also uphold the culture knowledge. Like, we have the oral traditions, we have idiomatic expressions, we have the anecdotes, we have the storytelling, and we have the our previous generations with the loads of, they're all endowed with the vitality of the indigenous languages, and they know the nuances, they know the mechanics of the language usage, so they can be really looked up forward to for with the help of course, with the MT and artificial intelligence. I talked about Meitei in Manipur, other regional state languages. There are many. It's like every state has its own local and also regional language, even some dialects. These technologies support language documentation. Documents in the sense that whatever is dying or we are out of print or we're not available, they can be digitized in the form of preservation. Translation can be done the real time. For learning, we can have newer publications or books, but of course in a digitized form, because it involves a lot of resources in the actual hard copies, and Disseminations of digital resource development, it cuts across the cost cutting. Also, it cuts across the border, and it can contribute significantly to the evaluation of such languages through the means of unique linguistic traits that can be transmitted. Also, accuracy. When you talk of language preservation, it has to be preserved in its totality, in its original form. That means, we cannot play with this grammar, so it has to be accurate, it has to be relevant in the linguistic processing. It shouldn't give, misleading or misinform us. So it can support preservation through technological integrations. And the role of the native speakers and the linguists, experts, is really, really significant. Why? Because they are the real repositories, the real resources we always look forward to for the active participations, ensuring and transmitting and capturing the traits. Every language is unique grammar, unique mechanical characteristics, and it's also has cultural subtleties. As those cultural subtleties only can be transferred by those aboriginals or those who have delved deeper into as a research scholar, or could be the original speakers. So the authenticity of the adaptation process is really important. It also involves ethical sense, so that it is not becomes a handiwork of those tool makers or gamers or application companies. So those challenges, which in long-term collaborations with the native speakers, language experts, would be a challenge in the sense that we cannot look for native speakers all around. There aren't many, and they have all themselves switched over the new languages because of dominance.
Excuse me, sir. Can you please come to the conclusion part?
So yeah, I'm coming to conclude. Yes.
About like 10 minutes. Yeah.
So it's time zone differences because we have across the northeastern states and in the southern states and all, they all have their distinct linguistic repertoire, and this maintaining motivation, managing conflicts, and ensuring mutual respects are also key challenges. So with the regular feedback, with the clear goals, open communications, these challenges can be really met. And it can really revolutionize language learning, offering interactions like platforms where we have asynchronous or synchronous platform. Also can be a personalized travel log in the form travel log with kind of journal writing through and these technology enable adaptive learning. That means if the learner is doing mistakes, it can, like we have a Duolingo, there is an application. We can use it for learning the third language, the fourth language, or the second language. And it really helps in acquisition of the rudimentaries, like primary language inputs. And so it can have enhanced engagement with a very enriching learning and efficient way of assimilating, and also effective educational outcome that can be tested. There are assessment tools online. We can be tested, and we can also have a more challenging task depending on the level of acquisition. So I'm talking about some of the apps like My Language and platforms like Local Tongue to revive endangered regional language in northeastern states. I don't know you guys are familiar with these applications or not, but they're really effective, and we can utilize features like interactive lessons. We can have language exchange forums, thread discussion threads and ongoing process of collaborations, and have flip learning projects, and also have some cultural content to engage users and empowering communities to preserve the linguistic heritage. And when you talk of heritage, actually language is the biggest heritage that we can transfer to our coming generation. And it's we were duty bound to transfer this in its original form with the kind of digital tools or implements. And so the Indian government is really trying hard. There are so many agencies that are focusing on creating linguistic databases. We have language revitalization applications. We have online platform. And we also have some of the funding, the development of language learning apps and NGOs, organizational language workers in communities to preserve linguistic diversity. So the efforts are on foot, and some of the success stories and realizations, like we have endangered language projects. We also have master apprentice language learning programs that really helps us in not only preserving it, also giving voices, like platforms like First Voices. First Voice means the first language, the mother tongue that we call. These initiatives help preserve and promote endangered languages, ensuring the survival for future generations. So AI and MT can aid language revival by not only preserving it, also enabling wider access. I mean, it can teaming millions of people all around the globe and all of they can have actual conversations. The automated translations of the text can be reached, can be accessed. These technology can help revitalize, maintain linguistic diversity. I mean, India is a composite culture, and we are rich simply because we are multilinguals, multicultural, and multidimensional. So, if we need to foster cultural heritage and preservation, intergeneration transmission, we need to adopt ways and means, and those are the outdated means are not working anymore because print has taken a toll, or even the publication readership has gone down. So what are the various ways? The only recourse we can have is a collaboration, and that collaboration in the real time and with the linguistic, like-minded people involving native speakers. I'm talking about aboriginals, or those people who really mastered the language over the generations, like parents or grandfathers, and their preservation efforts using aided by or abated by the technology, it can really bring back to the real character of the language, and it can fostering also a sense of Indianness, a sense of pride and ownership within the community for the language. I mean, all of us, we feel proud when we really converse into our own original mother tongue. So
Excuse me, sir.
yeah,
Please
I'm
conclude
concluding.
the paper, sir.
Yes, I'm concluding now. I'm winding up with my messages for all those people who are the language users to take advantage of these applications and tools online, which are free of cost and available. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sir Mohammed Hassan Ahmad, for your wonderful this paper. I would like to this one see if Sophia Listen is online in this session. If she is present, then please present your paper in around about 5 minutes. If you are not there, then I would like to request Sir Satish to conclude the session. Hello, Sir Satish. Are you there?
Are you waiting for the next speaker? Am I done for my session now?
Yeah, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Yeah, good evening.
Do you want me
sorry.
to unshare my presentation? Do you want me to unshare my presentation now?
Sorry?
Should I unshare my...
Hello, Sir Satish. Please conclude the session.
Yeah. Good evening to all. So, we have had a very long session. Almost 13 papers have been presented by people from different parts of the country. And the papers varied from, say, martial arts to artificial intelligence, the concept of Leela to multiculturalism. We had papers on literature, ELT, eco-criticism. So such a varied session and different types of papers. Everybody has done excellently well. I think we have exceeded the time. 4:30 is the given time, but it's only 5:15. And moreover, not many people among the audience are remaining. We are just presenters remaining. I hope if we are to raise any questions, we'll have to ask among ourselves. Should there be any questions? Rapporteurs are there. Should we discuss? Should we have any questions, or should we wind up?
Yes, sir. We will wind up.
Okay. So once again congratulating everybody and thanking everybody for the wonderful session. Thank you all.
Thank you very much indeed. And I really felt honored to be among these distinguished speakers, hoping to get back to you sooner than later in future presentations and seminars. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so
I'd like to thank our chairperson,